Hello, scientists! Thank you for tuning in for more fun and educational content from the Rochester Museum and Science Center. Today, we'll be exploring a property of matter called density and using it to build what is called a density tower. Everything in the universe is made up of matter, and every type of matter has its own density. Density refers to how tightly molecules in a substance are packed together, that is, how much space there is between molecules. Substances with a high density tend to be heavier, while substances with a low density tend to be lighter. Today we will find out what happens when you mix liquids of different densities together. We will be using 6 liquids from around the house for today's experiment. We will add them one at a time to our 1-liter graduated cylinder and observe the result. If you're following along at home, you can use any kind of glass jar or drinking glass instead. One ingredient you may not have at home is glycerin. Glycerin is a common household substance which is used in soap making, bath products, and even first aid ointments. You can substitute shampoo or body wash if you don't have pure glycerin. I'm adding some gel food coloring to make mine more visible, since glycerin is normally transparent. We'll also be using some dish soap. Mine already had some color mixed in, but feel free to add a few drops of food coloring to yours if needed. I added some red food coloring to my water so it would be easier to see. You can use whatever colors you have on hand. Lucky for me, the vegetable oil already has a nice golden color to it. This worked out since I was running out of colors, and since water-based food coloring and oil don't mix well. We'll find out why in a minute. Now let's add our first ingredient, sticky molasses. Molasses is a thick, viscous liquid with lots of sugar. It is used for making cookies and other baking and cooking projects. Molasses has lots and lots of sugar molecules packed into just a tiny amount. Does that give you any clues about its density? Next, we will add some maple syrup. Maple syrup is a little less viscous than molasses, but it still has lots of sugar crammed into a tiny amount. Next, let's add our green glycerin. When you use body wash or shampoo, does it seem to have a high density or a low density? Our dish soap is next. How might dish soap and glycerin be similar? Are they used for similar purposes? Now we can add our water. Water is used by scientists as a measure or standard for many things. The density of water is 1 gram of mass per milliliter of volume or space. Our last ingredient is vegetable oil. You might have heard that vegetable oil is recommended for cooking because it is lighter than solid fats like butter. Do you think being lighter might have something to do with the oil's density? Now let's see our results. It looks like, rather than mixing together, some of the liquids settled out into their own layers. It looks like the molasses, with all of its sugar molecules, sank to the bottom of the tower. That tells us that molasses must have the highest density of all our ingredients. Just above it is the maple syrup, which also has lots of sugar molecules packed in. Above the syrup, it looks like glycerin settled just below the dish soap. This makes sense because dish soap and glycerin, which is used in body wash and shampoo, have similar compositions and uses. Above that, we can see our water and then our vegetable oil, which is less dense than water and floating on the top. You can also see some air bubbles that formed while I was pouring. Because they're filled with air, their density is very low. Once you allow the mixture to settle for a while, the layers become even more clear. Now it's your turn to make your own density tower out of supplies you have on hand. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay home, and remember to stay tuned for more fun science content from the Rochester Museum and Science Center.